So thanks to Token Engineering Academy, whose invitation to collaboration gave me this amazing opportunity to review all these great platforms. And of course, special thanks to Artemis for offering us this exclusive tour of their premium products. Our review today is going to explore the platform from the perspective of how it helps tokenomic engineering and analysis. We're going to focus on 4 key themes. Data coverage, what kind of data is being served on the platform, and how much of it provides insight into fundamental processes and activities taking place outside of exchange markets. Accessibility and flexibility. How easy is it to explore data directly on the platform and to export it to other work environments for further analysis and exploration? Documentation. How rigorously and thoroughly are the methods and definitions used by the platform described and communicated? There are always assumptions and workarounds involved, and it really helps us to understand what they are. And finally, best practice innovation. How does the data offering and the auxiliary resources around that support innovation and the development of best practices for analysis in tokenomics? This format will be applied to review 5 data providers in total. You can watch the whole lot in that playlist that's showing up on your screen now. And if you want more background on why I'm doing things this way, check out my earlier video explaining the importance of data to tokenomic engineering and analysis. This common approach will also help us compare all these platforms at the end in a final video, so make sure that you stick around for that. Ready? Let's go. Okay, now it's time to look at Artemis, and remember, Messari makes use of Artemis's services for some of its charting tools, like it makes use of DeFi Llama, so this is going to be a big deal for sure. And what we see here is the home screen, and I think Artemis have got it right here. They've got the balance right between greeting you with a good spread or range of information without feeling like it's just a little too rammed, or which for me creates a bit of overwhelm to the whole experience. We've got, market metrics, which everyone loves and are important. This shortcut view into different contracts, applications, and categories. And I like this. Fundamental metrics, performance chart-based view. And we have some sort of grouping that helps make sense of why these metrics are, have a relation to each other. We've got active addresses, the market cap of stablecoins, specifically NFT transactions, active devs. Really cool view there. Most of the navigation now is organized in the left, and we can see that it's not too deep as well. So that's the overview page. We go to comparables. And look, we are already being led into this horizontal view here, which I absolutely love. Everywhere else, when we were just looking at DeFi Llama, it has a lot of information, but sort of like comparing it and putting it together is a bit of work. And here it's served that way. And this is an interesting distinction in how they walk you down the data path, how these different platforms do that. And you're already being led to a much more horizontal view, much more easily here. I can choose which chains I want on here. And this is a really fundamental oriented view. We've got active addresses, daily transactions, total value locked. Each of these comes with a little tooltip that gives you a little bit of documentation information on these measures. Sometimes summaries seem to be self-explanatory, like market cap, which is not, as you know from my Messari video. Stablecoin growth in 24 hours. This is amazing. I love this. So much stuff, so meaningful and accessible in one page. And you can choose which chains you want at the top there. Each of these is downloadable as a CSV. If I click this, that's gonna turn into a little CSV download for me. Up it goes. So we have a much more consistent treatment of what we can do with data. The table's downloadable as a CSV here. These are sort of very market-centric data points. We can click down into the project level. So let's do that as I'm talking about it. And we have, okay, this is Aptos, right? So yeah, daily active addresses, transactions, DEX volumes, how many stable coins are on this. Market data is all the way at the back. Isn't that nice for a change? That people are putting the fundamentals ahead of the market cap and the price, but they are important, of course. Social metrics here. This feels really easy to navigate. I don't feel overwhelmed. No disrespect to DeFi Llama or Masari, they have a difficult task on their hands because they have so much data, but you can see that I'm not struggling to find out what this is. New Twitter followers, cumulative Twitter followers, that's cool. Again, those metrics won't be robust for small projects, but for larger ones, they will. And let's go back up. I had a feeling like I was missing something earlier. So let's go back up to the comparables view. And here, I wanted to look at these. So we got views on perpetuals. So perpetuals are like futures that never expire. It's a derivative contract that allows you to manage risks, that allows you to take a short position, a position which will do well if the asset falls. So that's very helpful for financial risk management. And so it gives you information on trading volume here, 3-month change, unique traders, TVL. Let's go back and lending. What do we have here? Different. So again, we're all in comparables here. This is sort of like getting a comparable view on all these things, on chains, perpetuals, liquid staking contract. This is great. So I really like the way that the data is organized here. Given my interests as someone who's wants to use this data to determine averages and variances, to benchmark assumptions for my modeling and from assumptions that need to be compared with the real world, essentially. Liquid staking, not much, but the important ones are up there. Contract deployments. This is beautiful. I love this stuff. Again, we can. This is a 3-month view. Let's look at a 1-year view, which will have a bit more range and dynamism in it. Why not take the 10-year view? It's amazing that we can just track this stuff on chain. We're given tooltips here that explain the fields a little bit. New contract deployers on layer 2s, on Solana. Amazing. And developer activity, for some reason, this is different. Weekly active, so commits and weekly active developers. Really cool. How many repos, how many commits. Lots of real fundamental information that goes beyond what the markets are doing and gives you a view into the broader economic processes that are at work in sustaining something that has, offers deeper utility than financial speculation in markets. So let's look at activity monitor. Let's see where that takes us. And active addresses. So this is another view. This is like we're in comparables anyway, but I guess this is just focusing on different kinds of activities. Okay, so this gives you the different categories available, and you can view your active addresses by that. That's really cool to just have that view available. I can download this again. It's a lot of very rich data. I'd need to dig into all of it, but it's very accessible. It's not laid out in a way that feels too dense or confusing to get to grips with. This doesn't feel like it's going to be that much work to become very familiar with. View composite trending applications. So this is cool. It tells you how much gas is being used in USD. Gas in gas units is always an interesting measure. We don't seem to have it there. And that's sort of it for the data view. What we have here are actually custom areas that I get to shape for myself. And there's something, this is actually a really, really cool feature, right? So let me just take you there. We go to Chart Builder, and Chart Builder allows you to create your own chart. So here's one I made earlier, as they used to say on a British program. And bam, 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 hopefully this loads soon. We're going to tidy this up in a bit. But what I've done here is, suppose I wanted to make my own fundamental metric that isn't, price to fees. I want to look at market cap over transactions and create a ratio that way. What I can do is, with this chart builder, I can pull in different data. So I've pulled in daily transactions and the circulating market cap for Ethereum, and done the same for Solana. And then I can actually type in a formula. I'm saying, okay, I want this custom metric of mine to divide the circulating market cap by the daily transaction. So this is a value ratio, a multiple that scales the market valuation to some fundamental measure of ongoing activity, which is daily transactions. And I've done that for Solana and for Ethereum here. And you can apply any of the standard arithmetic operators to create your metric here. And if I get rid of these, the only slight annoyance here is that I have to have these other measures loaded in order to define these custom metrics, but I can uncheck them here. And once I uncheck them here, I now have 2 custom fundamental ratios right here in the chart. And I can download this. I can download it and it shows up as an Excel chart. Do I have it here? This is the data I pulled up earlier. So that's, in terms of talking about data accessibility, that's amazing. Unfortunately, the refresh has brought everything back. But don't worry. Anyway, I can also embed this in a website, and I can take a snapshot to put in a report. So this is really amazing. And I can create a dashboard that includes any of my custom charts or any chart that's already defined on the Artemis terminal. So here I'm just sort of displaying that chart again, but that's again a very powerful tool. I can change the layout. So that's an overview of the Artemis terminal. We have less data, but it is served in a way that really leads you into this horizontal analysis and makes it really a really fun experience to sort of select different projects and make comparisons. And this custom charting ability where you can make your own custom metrics, I think, to offer that here on the UI is beautiful. It allows you to think on the fly. And I think a lot of people who want to take steps towards more sophisticated, more custom analysis by themselves without exporting data would really love to start playing around with stuff like this. And we saw we could just export it. So really, it's amazing what they're doing on that front. But even with all this really impressive accessibility and flexibility right here on their terminal platform, we haven't even scratched the surface of what Artemis are enabling analysts to do. And that's because they actually have 2 products. Let's see which tab. They have the terminal, which we've just been looking at, and Artemis Sheets, a spreadsheet plugin. You can see it already, crypto data in your Excel and Google Sheets. So this is absolutely amazing. It allows you to pull data into your spreadsheets in a way that's much more flexible than having to navigate over into specific views and pull the data there from the platform, as we've been seeing with almost every single data platform so far. And they go further than that. Not only do they give you this service, they give you a bunch of templates. And here, I love this, is so amazing to me. They support Microsoft Excel. Everybody online hates Microsoft Excel. Everybody loves Google Sheets. But if you're an Excel user, you know there's a reason why it's the best product. Sorry, it really is. And to find that they're still looking after Excel users is really fantastic. And you can see, for convenience though, let me just eat my words right there and show you all these demos in Google Sheets because it's easier for the browsing experience. All of these tokens are supported by the formulas that they provide. So if I go down there, almost 12,000 tokens are supported. And we've got a simple comps table. We can pull the market cap, fully diluted market cap, total value locked, all-time high, very standard sort of market data there, but really cute. And you can see here that we've got that ART formula, which already is using that custom formula functionality here. What else have we got? DeFi comps, very similar, a sort of spread of metrics, cross-chain dashboard, beautiful market and data multiples, circulating market cap, ratios market cap over TVL, fully diluted market cap over TVL, lots of ratios there, fundamental data, 7-day changes with sort of like color indicators and highlights, weekly commits, it's all on here. And you can chart this, it's all here. And this is just an example. This is just sort of like something that they are giving you to work with. They are actually selling an analyst service to build custom dashboards for their clients. DEX fundamentals, market data, operating metrics. This is wonderful. As someone who is dyed in the wool as a TradFi Excel spreadsheet user, it's so amazing that, that is still being celebrated as a strong data analysis platform. So crypto portfolio tracker, you can build your own portfolio there. Rewards portfolio tracker. What else do we have? 100 token screener, an analyst model by Sam Andrews, which includes burning and issuance, which is interesting when it occurs in Ethereum. So lots of great stuff there. So really to give you this flexibility, this is probably the most flexibility you're going to get from your data short of a SQL query platform. Of course, you can pull data in with the APIs, but these formulas actually give you quite a lot of flexibility on what data you pull through. And that ends up that gives you more flexibility than an endpoint API. And of course, it ports all of that natively into a spreadsheet, which, if that's your weapon of choice, is truly amazing. If we go to the documentation on supported metrics, we get a lot more information about what you can pull through with these formulas. So we can see that the market data comes from CoinGecko, and here are all the argument labels that allow you to pull values through with their formulas. And so that we get a whole bunch of pricing data from a MarketGecko. And we get a whole bunch of metrics from Artemis Terminal, including daily active users, transactions, Twitter followers. A lot of these fundamentals are just pulling through. And you'll remember that's been a theme from my review of the other platforms, that there's a real good spread of fundamental data, but they don't always make it available. And this feels like they are making the largest range of fundamental data available in the most flexible way. So it's really amazing. Core sub-developers, contracts deployed, all of this comes. You got trading volume, unique traders. This is only going to grow as their data coverage grows. But they're maintaining this super well. I hope they keep this high standard. Lending fundamentals here. And okay, did you see that? I'll show you now. They also get to pull data from DeFi Llama. So that kind of massive confusion that we were in, or at least it was kind of confusing to me at first look, you can just pull all of that in now. You can just pull all of their DEX, TVL metrics, their fees, their revenue metrics, their market cap. And yes, we also have access to token terminals data as well. But okay, no free lunches, guys. You need an API key with token terminal in order to get this service. But that's really amazing. So you get their measures of daily active users, weekly active users. Look, massive spread of fundamentals there, really nice. So you get access to them as well. NFT data from CoinGecko. So that's a really impressively broad range of data, and broader than some of the API offerings we've seen. So truly amazing tool at your fingertips there. And before I forget, their formula tool not only allows you to pull all these metrics, but they also have a new formula that allows you to pull data from June, from any custom query on June. So this is one of the ones they've demoed here. This is GMX platform stats. What you do is you select, I think it's this number here. And if you go in and you have a different formula, let's see if I can, this is working on Excel. And if we go here, there's this formula called ArtJune 1443379, which is that number I've just highlighted in the URL there, if you can see it. And it pulls up the data table for this June query. So this is amazing now. We can, you can either leverage other people's June work to do analysis in an Excel or spreadsheet environment. This also works in Google Sheets. Or of course, you can write your own SQL code on those platforms and have a link that's already set up on your very own Excel spreadsheet that just allows you to integrate that workflow in a much more seamless way. That's amazing. This reduces frictions in multi-tooling, and that I think is extremely powerful because then you get to leverage all these other people's work. So I'm super, super, super excited by this. Okay, the next area of focus is documentation. Here, Artemis is a little bit weak, in my opinion. We had those tooltips on the UI, and I thought that was good, but we don't have a systematic repository. If we look on the terminal section here, there's one area where they have some definition, and this goes to a level of depth that I think is appropriate. But that's it. That's they only have this for the activity monitor definitions. And it would be nice to have some more documentation. Sometimes, the data is coming through from somewhere else. So the onus is on someone else to provide that documentation as such. But even just sort of stating that in a consolidated docs repository, I think would be improvement. Plenty of documentation around the use of sheets, but not documentation around the metrics and methodologies, which I think are also important and a little lacking on this specific front. And then we finally get to idea generation, and I mean, it's just amazing, right? The fact that they're giving you all these ideas for comps and ways of laying analysis out is just absolutely stellar. I'm going to be looking at this and seeing if I get any ideas. And that's a massive step forward in creating best practices and a shared language around analysis. Most of this, I'd say, is still quite centered on market metrics, a very sort of financial lens, but some fundamentals finding their way in as well. And of course, that ability to invite you to make your own measures and metrics, I think, is also a really strong feature that supports you in building your own methods and approaches in this space as well. Artemis do also have their own research portal. And again, in terms of idea generation, looking at how analysts are thinking about problems, how they're addressing them, I think this is a really good resource. It says crypto fundamentals, but actually, I mean, all sorts of things are fundamental, right? Policy is sort of fundamental in a certain way. So the coverage is broad. It's not just data-centric, but there's a range of things, including policy reviews and comparisons. And so I think, again, top marks to Artemis for promoting high research standards and best practice when it comes to broader, deeper research into the blockchain space.